I am a computer science student and I've always been a tech geek. Just make sure that the course you do is going to add value and is going to help you get into product management. But yeah, you should know that you will be on a time crunch. Even if, it was 9 to 10 universities, the top MEM programs. As I said, I did not apply to any safety school in MEM. They are making so much money and they're getting so much experience. Okay, I've studied on scholarship my entire life. I could probably just use the entire thing at Cornell.
Welcome to Beyond Conversations, an initiative by IEEE Pune section and a podcast show which is for the students and by the students. In this episode, I'm your host Sohan Joshi and we have Janvi Shah as the guest, who is the student at Cornell University. Janvi is currently pursuing her Masters in Engineering Management, that is MEM, at Cornell, and is also a product management intern at Washington Post. She has built a huge following of over 27,000 followers on LinkedIn, where she keeps documenting her career journey. This episode is a complete guide to the students aspiring to make a career in the techno management space, and especially the ones looking forward to pursue Masters in Engineering Management in the USA soon. Please check the description for the contents of the episode and for a ton of other important resources. Also, over 91% of our viewers haven't yet subscribed to our channel, so I'd highly appreciate it if you do. That will help us to grow our channel further. And with that out of the way, let's begin the episode. Thank you. So hi everyone and welcome to our podcast show named Beyond Conversations, a podcast show which is for the students and by the students. Today with me I have Janvi. Hi Janvi, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, Sohan. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I am Janvi Shah and I am a product management intern at the Washington Post right now. I am a master's student studying engineering management at Cornell University. I've done my bachelor's in computer science from PDPU in India. I am a part-time content creator. I like creating content about networking, personal branding, study abroad, especially for students. And yeah, apart from that, I love traveling. I do this in my free time. I record podcasts, so it helps get out more information on the internet. And yeah, I'm here to help students, and I'm so happy we get to do this. Yeah, thank you for inviting me to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to do this podcast. And before we begin this podcast, I just want to summarize, the way we'll be breaking down this episode. So we'll be breaking it down into 3 parts. The first part would be about why MEM. The second part would be about profile building and the exciting stuff. And the third part would be about your experience of studying at Cornell. So I think that's the question that a lot of people want to get the answer to. So coming to the first part, that is why MEM. And in that, the first question is that, again, why MEM? When did you decide to pursue this course?
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. I guess just when COVID hit, I was probably in my second year of my undergrad, and I was this girl who was running this rat race of being a coder because all of my friends were trying to do that. And I don't know if anyone knows, but Amazon has this program for girls called Amazon Wow, and I got to interview for that specific round, and I was really excited. I prepped for 1 or 2 months, and I completely bombed the interview. And I was like, oh shit, what do I do? And the interesting part was that I did not panic at all. I did not even care about how the interview went. I did not have 1% regret to it. With Amazon, it would have been a big thing to me. But yeah, that's when the realization started that this is not what I want to do for my entire life. I did not enjoy the process. I did not enjoy doing it. I just don't want to do it just for the sake of my friends doing it. And that is when I started exploring other options, career options, being a computer science student. I've always been a very creative person. I have I make handmade gifts for my friends and family, and I love designing. I love marketing side of things. I like building products or services from scratch, the business part of it, and not just the coding or coding part of it. Yes, it was a Google search. It sounds so lame, but I was looking for career options apart from like being a programmer or a software engineer. And that's where I came across product management. It sounded something which would be like a good fit for me. And then I went on LinkedIn and searched actual product managers. At that time, there were really few. It wasn't as hyped up as it is in the industry right now. But yeah, I connected with a few for the next 2 years. During my bachelor's degree, I kept connecting with product managers. I kept asking them random questions like, hey, what does a day in a life look like? Hey, can you get on a coffee chat with me? I'm excited to know more about what your work is. And I just felt that the work they do is something that I would love doing. And product management was the start of me applying for an engineering management degree. Because most of my courses, I've taken courses in finance, I've taken so many courses on marketing. I had a product management course. All of these courses were the reason I was like, okay, engineering management sounds like a good fit if I want to get into the product domain. And yeah, that is how I came across engineering management. I decided to apply, and it sounds so then right now of me telling you that, oh, it was just a Google search, but it was. But yeah, I'm really glad I took that decision.
And this happened in which year of your college?
So product management happened in second year of my undergrad. MEM happened in third year of my undergrad. That's when like students start applying if they want to go abroad, and that's when I started too. I also kept like a few CS courses as my backup when I was applying. So I applied to almost 7 MEM universities, MEM courses at other universities, and like 3 top and like a mix of top and like safe schools for computer science. I was like, if I don't get into a good school for engineering management, I don't want to go to a lower ranked course because engineering management as such is like a very new course. So I want to go to a reputed school where they have a good curriculum. And that doesn't work out, I'll probably just take computer science. It was second and third year.
Right. See, like most of the people around me, including me also, like we first stumble upon the fact that we don't want to do like just tech part of things, and we sort of conclude that we want to get into techno management, and it is then we start looking for courses. Like there is engineering management, there's business analytics, there's MBA, there's masters in management, so this MIM degree in Europe. So there are so many options out there. So like how did you shortlist MEM out of all of these options available?
Yeah, that's actually a great question too. So I am a computer science student and I've always been a tech geek. I never wanted to lose that connection of technology or engineering. I didn't want a data heavy course. So that is why I did not take up like business analytics. For MBA, especially in the US, you require 3 to 5 years of work experience. I did not have that. I'm a fresher. So MBA was ruled out too. I did not want to go to the Europe. I never considered it. MIM in US isn't a STEM course in most of the universities.
Yeah.
So I did not prefer that too. There was technology management, engineering management. A lot of this universities have different names, but I think all three of like information science or information management, all of them are like very similar courses. And I applied to information science, information management, MEM courses. So it was a mix of it. Technology management is, I guess, offered by NYU and Texas, UTD, I guess, one of the universities. But yeah, and I did not want to take up those courses. They did not sound interesting to me, so I did not apply to that. But yeah, that is how I ruled out other courses and picked engineering management because I still have some of the engineering heavy courses and I still learn about management science or business side of stuff. And that is what I actually wanted to do. So MEM fit the best.
Right. So throughout, like if you would tell about the timeline, right, so that you followed, like this is when I gave the GRE exam, this is when I started working on my LORs and SOPs until the application process. Can you lay it in front of us?
Yeah, for sure. So in my head, I was probably preparing from the first year of my undergrad. I
Mhm.
had a few family friends who had already gone abroad, or like they were prepping to like go for a master's abroad, and I was
Yeah.
constantly in touch with them that, hey, what's your process? How are you doing it? What courses are you applying to? And like, uh, how to give the GRE, which coaching did you get, and all of these things. I used to keep like bugging my seniors or like my family friends who were like ahead in this journey, and they gave me a lot of insight. But I actually, and one of the best pieces of advice that one of my family friends gave me was that give your GRE as soon as possible. And I
Yeah.
actually took that advice, and I started in the fourth semester. So basically towards the end of my second year.
Second year. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was already giving my GRE in March. I gave my first attempt in March, and it was during peak lockdown or just before lockdown was announced. I was too lucky to just give it like 2 or 3 days before the lockdown happened. And I guess, yeah, so that is when I started the GRE. I first like gave the GRE. I got 319 in my first attempt. So, and I 320 was my cutoff. So I was like, oh, I want 320 plus if I wanted to like apply to like Stanford or like get into the top schools. So after a lot of like convincing from my dad and from the coaching I went to, they were like, okay, you have a lot of time, take 1 more month and like give the GRE again. So I, after exactly 1 month, I gave the GRE again and I got 329. And that was like a very big jump. Like 10 marks in
Yeah. Yeah.
GRE means a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
So yeah, I was done with GRE by April, and then I guess I prepped for like 1.5 months for TOEFL. TOEFL is very easy. It's
Yeah.
not even close to the prep required for GRE. And then I guess by May I was done with all of my exams, and the question was, oh, I need to start shortlisting universities. I need to know where I want to apply. So and I didn't want to do it by myself because I wanted a structured process. I wanted a like not like someone to like point it out to me that these are the universities affiliated with us, apply over here. I wanted someone to give me like guided information,
Guide. Yeah.
um a consultancy who gives like honest opinion. So this is what you could crack. We're not gonna help you with writing your SOP or LOS. You do it, but we help you edit it. We help you make it better. And yeah, I was sure I wanted to apply to MEM, so I reached out to a few students who were at Dartmouth who were studying at Stanford. And that is how I came to know about GradY. And yeah, I and my dad got on a call with them. We're like, oh, we want to take up your services. And so I started with shortlisting my universities and like writing my SOP, I guess, in June or July, which was like pretty early because I had time. I already finished my exams, so
Yeah.
I spent like good 2-3 months writing my documents, editing them, making them more better. Obviously, the consultancy helped with it, and um, the first round of early admissions, I applied to UWash, and the application started in October, I guess, or late mid-November for me. November, December went in applying. I started getting a few decisions from January, and Jan to March was decisions, obviously, for me. And yeah, I guess March end was the time I decided that I want to go to Cornell. So it was a good 1 year of the
Yeah.
entire process from them giving exams to like deciding the university. It was
Yeah.
stressful. I won't lie. It was very stressful, and especially like when you do it like being a student who's going to classes every day, and like you have to
Exactly.
do this after coming back or in your free time.
Exactly.
It takes up a lot of your energy. But the day I got my Cornell admission, I still remember how happy I was. So it was worth it, all the hard work. But yeah, it was 1 year of prep, so too much.
That's quite intense, but the reward is so huge. That's quite intense.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, balancing so many things alongside these side projects that people usually work on to sort of, build their profile is like also important. So can you tell us about some of the side projects that you worked upon during your bachelor's? Like when you were working on them, did you specifically have in mind, like, this will help me in my engineering management applications? Or like, how did you navigate through that?
So I did not have that in my mind, and especially the last 2 years of my undergrad, they were online. So I did not actually have like
Yeah.
concrete work in the last 2 years. So everything was dependent on the first 2 years of the project that I took. I was probably like, I started working on this project called Mood-Based Lighting System in, I guess, end of my first year itself. I was just interested by it. I was like, okay, let's build something. And that project turned into funding from my university, and that funding turned into a patent. And that is something that I never imagined that would happen. So I did not have like any clear end goal in my mind that if I did side projects, it was just because I liked doing them. I wanted to learn
That's
something
nice.
while doing it. So that wasn't my mentality for sure. But yeah, if you know that, oh, you want to pursue like if you like machine learning, if you want to do it for your master's, you would want to do like more machine learning projects. You would want to write a research paper under a renowned professor. So at least like if you have that clarity in your mind that, oh, this is what I want to do, you should keep that end goal in your mind. And like, yeah, I could probably take up more projects in this domain. But with engineering management, the thing is that I guess your experience, like leadership experience, work experience, the work you do matters as much as your side projects. Like they wouldn't value if you have like 3 research papers or like 10 technical projects. They would value if you've shown any leadership experience, if you built something from scratch, if you've led communities. And the most important thing that I think engineering management universities look for is why do you want to do an MEM degree? How is it going to help you in your career? Like, what is your end goal? What do you want out of this master's degree? Yeah, it's a mix of things that you should put in your profile or your portfolio. And I know projects is one of it. So my projects had 1 paragraph in my SOP, and I had, I guess, 7 to 8 paragraphs. Uh, 3 paragraphs were just for my work experience. The program manager internship, the functional analyst internship. I talked about product management and why do I want to get into it, and others were about my education and where did it all start. So
Yeah.
projects was just a very small part of it. So don't build projects just for like the sake of like putting it in your profile. Just do it if you like doing it. You can correlate it into your profile anyway.
Exactly. That was a very sensible advice, because like what the thing that I've seen is like in my batch, particularly in like, when you are in the third year and people sort of start looking up to these courses and they want to pursue in the higher education, they sort of try to align everything for that. Like if I'm doing this project, it's for this course. If I'm doing this, it's for this. But then again, this was a pretty sensible advice. And
Yeah.
one more thing. This is a bit of like an informal question. So let's say if you were to go back and change something about your application process, then what would it be?
That's actually a good question. I haven't thought about it. Probably not applied to those computer science degrees that, like I applied to. I got really confused and stressed, one day because one of my mentors, he's a product manager at Microsoft, and he's a really great person. I always look up to his advice, and he just he put this question in front of me that what is an engineering management degree? Just make sure that the course you do is going to add value and is going to help you get into product management. And before that, I was just applying to engineering management degrees, and I felt oh, wait, if I don't get into the top universities here, worst case scenario, I do not want to go to a lower ranked university where they
Yeah.
don't have an established curriculum. So I applied to computer science degrees, and that was just a waste of money for me, I guess, because I knew in the back of my head I never wanted to go there or pursue that course too. And so in the back of my head, just like keep backup options for the course you want to actually pursue, not just because they're going to give you a safe
Okay.
career or provide you with a better job offer after you
Yeah.
graduate. Honestly, like even if I would have the honest reality of the market right now is no matter like what degree you're in, there are still a lot of students who haven't found out jobs. And if I wouldn't have found out a job even after a computer science degree, I would have regretted it a lot. Better to not have a job with an MEM degree. So that's one thing I would have changed probably.
And then throughout this process, you mentioned networking and then having mentors to sort of help you along the way. So, according to you, what's the importance of networking and, finding these mentors early on in your career in such a way that they help you with not only your applications process, but in any, in throughout your career in general?
Yeah. So some of my mentors are my friends and they're not even my mentors. So, I do not approach calls with them as mentoring sessions. Like with one of my mentors, we talk in Gujarati because we both Gujarati, and it's like, oh, what's up with life? What are you doing? Tell me more about your life just apart from your career. So another thing that I've learned along the way of finding mentors is that you would look up to a lot of people. I look up to a lot of product managers, women in leadership positions. But not everyone is going to be a good fit as a mentor for you. And yes, there's a good fit for a mentor too. You need to be on the same lines. You need to you look up to a lot of people, but there are only a few people you follow, and you follow them for a reason because your values match, what you want out of a career match, and the guidance they give matches with the values or the things you look up to in your life, and that wouldn't fit with everyone. So when I was probably in my second or third year, I used to text everyone I looked up to that, hey, would you be willing to mentor me, or hey, would you be willing to get on a coffee chat with me, and then ask them that if you would be willing to mentor me. And that is something that I realized wasn't a good strategy. You would want to have a few conversations, see if your values match, see if you think that he's a good person, he or she is a good person to take advice from, and is that the kind of advice you want? So that is something that I learned. And do not approach mentoring as networking with someone. They're very different things. If you're looking for a mentor, you would want to learn more about their journey, learn more about what you want from them. I know from my mentors, especially Darsh, who is a product manager at Microsoft, I look up to him because he is a seasoned product manager. I want to be a product manager. I know he's gone through that path, so he can help me, he can guide me of how do I carve out my own path. So know what you want out of that mentorship, and after you've had a few conversations with them, just approach them saying, this is what I want, I look up to you, and I just want your help with this, and would you be willing to mentor me? And whether it's a yes or a no, people are busy. Few people have reached out to me for mentorship too, and I'm like, I'm a student. I don't work full time, and honestly, I do not have the time to mentor anyone. So don't take it personally if it's a no. Just if you look, if you're looking for mentors, keep looking, find two to three people who you can trust, and help, that they'll guide you on your journey. And do not approach it as networking. Do not make questions for them. Just have a normal conversation with them as a friend. That is what my advice would be. Networking is very different. But yeah, finding a mentor is completely different. how mentors have helped me shape my journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't answered that. So, I guess how they've shaped my journey is every time I have a silly question, or like I have a big corporate presentation coming up. So, and I've never given one, especially in US. So, like, how do I communicate well? How do I deliver it well? And these are questions that if you ask people who've already been in your shoes, you get better answers to. You get
Yeah.
guidance for questions in your head you can ask no one to, especially like
Okay.
in your professional career. So my mentors have helped me not just like in this internship, but also to decide which university I want to go to. And when I wanted mentors who guide me for that, I would like connect with people who were already at universities I wanted to pursue my course. They have been through that, so they guided me that, oh, this is right and this is wrong. I remember when I was waitlisted for Dartmouth and I had already gotten into Cornell and Duke. I was picking between Cornell and Duke, and one of my mentors who studied from Dartmouth,
Okay.
he gave me like really actionable advice. And when I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah, he's right. I've never thought about this perspective. And it was actually one of the reasons why I picked Cornell too. So
Okay.
I guess my only point of saying is that they've been through what you're going through most of the times. They know what to do. They can guide you. They're obviously not gonna like hold your hand and carry you through the entire journey, but they'll at least give you a sense of what to do and like how to walk on that path. And that's what my mentors have done for me.
Exactly. This was such a wholesome answer. The thing that particularly resonated with me was that mentors aligning with your values, like everyone can't be your mentor. And the second thing is that mentors and networking is completely different. So this is something that I learned and I resonate very well with. So coming back to the universities question, like you said, you applied to a couple of computer science universities, then again like MEM also. So can you tell us like all those universities that you applied to?
Yeah, I'll try to remember most of them. I do not have a good memory. So for MEM, I applied to Stanford. Stanford doesn't have like an MEM degree.
Yeah.
It's a master's.
MSc.
It's an MSE or
MSc
something.
program. Yeah.
Yeah, so I applied to Stanford MSc. I applied to Dartmouth, Duke, Cornell, MEM. Then I did not apply to Columbia because their course was very operations and finance heavy, which I didn't want to do. I applied to Indiana Kelly MIS. It's the best MIS program. I applied to CMU MIS program. I got into the global track, which I didn't want to do. And in terms of computer science, I applied to USC, NEU, and ASU.
Nice. That's nice. So it's a wholesome combination.
Yeah, it was 9 to 10 universities, the top MEM programs. As I said, I did not apply to any safety school in MEM. So that was my reason of like applying to like top CS courses or top MIS courses too. My mentors at Gradvine were really sure that I'm going to get admits on the top MEM programs too. But they always advise you to keep safe schools. And I was like, if we're keeping safe schools, I want to keep CS safe schools instead of MEM safe schools because, I want to study from a good university.
Yeah, right. So while shortlisting the universities, right, I'm sure you must have gone through those electives or the tracks that these universities offered. So right now, even I am someone who is an MEM aspirant. So like I went through their elective courses and that's how I'm shortlisting universities. So was it your approach too, or like how was it different or similar?
Yeah, for sure. It was my approach too, but I did not approach it as like electives or like courses I could take. I used to see, how many fixed courses do I have to take, like fixed amount of credits, and how many flexible credits do I have?
Right.
Duke had a really good product management curriculum. It was I have never studied there, but I've heard really good things about it. So that added to my confusion of Duke versus Cornell. But I did look up courses that aligned with the courses I wanted to take. I knew I wanted to take up marketing courses. I love marketing. I knew I wanted to take up design thinking or courses. I wanted to learn more about finance and economics and The good thing about Cornell's curriculum was that we had uh, 4 to 5 courses which were compulsory, and other courses you decide which ones do you want to take. So apart from the fixed courses, almost all of the courses I've taken are from the Johnson Business School. So SC Johnson Business Schools, I've studied with MBAs. I've taken courses that they take, and that was like a deal breaker for me. That I want. I understand that you want us to take like fixed amount of credits, but the rest of the course, I want to decide how much flexibility I have in the courses I want to take. So most of these universities who have this elective or track, they would also have something called as build your own elective or build your own track.
Yeah.
And most of the students do this, build their own track or build their own elective. I went into Cornell thinking that, I would like take up this product management track or like, something like that. But at the end, you just end up picking up courses that you like and you just build your own elective. And universities are fine. My advisors have never even discussed that with me. They're like, okay, you're taking this courses, this look fine. What are your outcomes? What are your goals from this? So do look up courses, but don't pay like so much. Don't stress about like, is this selective there or not? Just look up the courses that you want to take. And see if like they align with the career you want. Electives don't matter.
This is nice. The flexibility that these schools provide is really nice. So I was just curious about like understanding like the experience at Cornell, like the academic experience when you have so much of flexibility and everything. So how was that experience studying with these amazing minds and experiencing this flexibility together with them?
It was probably the best decision I've ever taken. And an honest opinion is that a lot of international students who took so the Cornell MEM program is either 2 semesters or 3 semesters. Most of my batch this year did a 2-semester, and because of the market condition, few of them, like actually like 30 to 40% of them, they're still looking for jobs. And you have a timer when you are in the US, especially as an international student, and their timer has started, it's running out. And if I was in that situation, and even if I had to go back to India after studying at Cornell, I wouldn't regret it, because this is the first time in my life where I felt that the knowledge I've gained is actually useful, is something that I can implement. I can see myself implementing in my life. And that is always something that I wanted. I did not come to Cornell because of the brand name. It's an Ivy school. I get to do this. I get to do that. I get a good job offer. I came because I wanted the best of the education. And I think, Cornell gave that to me. So, I wouldn't regret that. And in terms of how Cornell has like helped me or bolstered that journey I wanted to take, I did crack a product management internship. It was difficult, and like obviously like Cornell did not help me crack that, but the courses I took, the things that I learned helped me crack those interviews and gave me the purpose that I came to US was to get a good education. I've loved studying with the people in my batch. I'm so shocked that talented people like them are still out of jobs in this market, because they're so talented. The discussions we've had in classes, I know for sure that this is probably the best group of people I've studied with. And it's something that Cornell gave me, and I would never, regret it. It's been the best 1 year of my life. I am not looking forward to going back to Ithaca because it's a very dull place, but I'm looking forward to my final semester.
This is so wholesome. Like listening to all of this, sitting here as someone who's aspiring to pursue higher education, especially the same course, the same university, actually very inspiring. It's really inspiring. And like talking about the other activities happening at the campus, right? So it's startup culture. There are different clubs over there. So what was your experience over there like?
So honestly, it's very different when you're a graduate student, and especially an international student. We had a very short course, and I have friends who were part of these clubs who were taking part in these activities, I wasn't one of them because I did a lot in my undergrad and that was enough leadership exercises for me. And the only aim for the last 1 year, last 2 semesters for me was to find an internship.
Yeah.
And the market conditions were so bad.
Yeah.
That I knew it was going to be difficult and I did not want to, allocate my time to like being in student clubs or like student activities, like conducting them, organizing them. So I did not take part in that. So I'm not a good person to answer that, at least from a master's student point of view. But yeah, you should know that you will be on a time crunch. Even if you are in like a 2-year course, you are going to be on a time crunch. You'll have other priorities. So definitely look up like student clubs you can be a part of. If you're someone who loves doing that and loves being part of communities, you would want to be a part of like 2 to 3 communities. But I was someone who did not have that priority. So I did not do that, and that's completely fine. They do not expect that out of graduate students.
Right. And then second last question now. Like, how do students at Cornell or like basically anyone who is studying abroad in your network specifically manage their finances?
I know there are 2 groups of people. One of them who come on educational loans, and the second one who are self-funded. So I think the percentage of financial like those buckets, the loan one is the higher one. A thing to know about Cornell's program is that it is very expensive.
Okay.
It is $30,000 per semester.
Yeah.
And if you plan to do an additional semester, you pay $30,000 more.
Yeah.
So it's very expensive. How I compensated that in my mind, at least, was that I've studied on scholarships almost my entire life.
And
Whether it was the JEE coaching center or my PDQ degree, it was fully funded. So I was like, okay, I've studied on scholarships my entire life. I could probably just use the entire thing at Cornell. So that's why it's just a joke. I'm just joking over here. But yeah, it's very expensive. And those are the 2 things that I have seen people use for their finances. If you're someone who to whom finances matters a lot, most of the people it does. Like you have pressure of an educational loan, you would want to consider universities who offer a better ROI. I know my friends at Purdue MEM, they are making so much money and they're getting so much experience. Their program is really flexible. They get to do like 1 year of co-op and they make up their entire tuition fees and just like doing those co-op. They gain experience too while doing that. So when they look for jobs, it becomes easier for them. So if that is a priority for you, you would want to look up schools who give you a better ROI, and you would know that by talking to students who are actually studying there. But if education is the point of view for you, you would, and if you have the privilege of not thinking about finances, you would want to, you have more flexibility and you could like pay for those expensive programs. But do not like make a stupid financial decision of like take a loan for a very exorbitant amount and go to a school is not gonna give you those career options after you graduate, because that becomes really difficult then. So make your choices wisely. Talk to students who've been in your shoes and ask them how the ROI has been for them. Has the amount they've invested in the university like proved fruitful for them in their career? And they'll give you a very real picture. Some of the students that I contacted gave me a very clear picture, and that affected my decisions a lot. So yeah, that is something that I would recommend students to do, even from finances point of view.
This was again very insightful. Like this is specifically insightful for the people those are immediately like in the next 2-3 months they'll be shortlisting their universities and sending their applications. So this period usually tends to be a hot period when people are enters into all of those things. So I think this podcast would be very, very helpful for not only the MEM aspirants, but the people, those who are like, applying to universities for different courses. The key takeaways that I have is that like, when you start early on, you can like, get that exposure by networking with people. like, asking them to be your mentor, and both of these are two separate games like you mentioned. And then, like, and then just having that defined why of doing things. Like in your case it was product management, in my case it's also the same thing. So I think that just keeps you going. So that's my takeaway. So any final piece of advice that you'd love to share with the students watching this podcast?
I would just say that just keep working hard. I've probably worked hard my entire life, and even when I was in school, and I've seen the results. I've seen how it has helped me in my career, and there are times when I'm like, oh, I've worked so hard, I'm still not seeing the results. Why should I even keep working hard? But I would just say that I have worked hard for almost like 5-6 years of my life. I have seen the results now, and I know there are like points which you want to give up and you don't want to do it, but just keep going. There'll be times in the future where you'll be so happy that you kept going and you worked hard, and you will definitely get the results. So start early, keep working hard, and keep a close group of friends who have the same values that you. Yeah, and they help you, like, then they support you with the choices. Yeah, that's all I've gotten. And yeah, I do wish that this podcast helps other students, especially as you mentioned that you'll be shortlisting universities right now. So be smart the way you shortlist them, and spend a lot of time researching universities by yourself. Do not leave that on your consultancy. All of these universities have their courses listed on their website. Talk to students, literally research every word written on that website, dive deep into all of the information, and yeah, just talk to students. You'll get a very good point of view, and all the best. I'm looking forward to more master students in US.
Thank you so much for doing this podcast, and thank you so much for being here, and really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of this.
Yep. Thank you for tuning into the episode. If you found it valuable, I kindly ask you to share it with others who may benefit from it. I highly recommend subscribing to our channel and exploring our other podcasts, all designed to support the student community out there. Additionally, make sure to visit the description for important links that will connect you with us. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Regards, Beyond Conversations, IEEE Pune section.